probably noticed how conversations used to be. Real eye contact, pauses, and the weight of silence. Now, it's all quick taps and endless scrolls. We used to meet in person, speak, laugh, and feel connected. Now, we're more likely to text, scroll, and miss out on the real human moment. It's not just about the technology. It's about how we've changed the way we see each other, the way we wait for responses, and the way we measure connection. We're used to being seen through a screen, but the real world is still here, and it's still waiting for us to look up. This video is about how we've moved from face-to-face to feed scroll, and what we might be losing along the way. We used to meet in the flesh, eyes locked, words exchanged in the warmth of shared presence. It was a conversation that shaped our understanding of each other, a rhythm of connection that couldn't be paused or paused. Now we scroll through screens, faces frozen in pixels, our interactions reduced to brief glances and fragmented messages. The intimacy of presence is replaced by the cold glow of a device. The shift isn't just about how we connect. It's about how we see each other. The depth of a glance, the nuance of a pause, the weight of silence, all are lost in the speed of a feed. We've traded the richness of real-time human exchange for a curated, often shallow version of connection. It's not just about what we say, but how we say it, and whether we even get to say it at all. In this digital age, we've become fluent in the language of the scroll, but we've forgotten the grammar of presence. And that, perhaps, is the cost of our evolving communication. You think you're just scrolling, but your brain is still reaching out. Every like, every comment, every reaction is a tiny echo of the human need to connect. We don't realize how much we're missing when we replace real conversation with a quick scroll, the warmth of a shared laugh, the weight of a meaningful glance. It all fades into the background noise of the digital world. You're not just scrolling. You're choosing what to see, what to feel, what to remember. The feed becomes a filter for your reality, shaping your thoughts without you even noticing. This isn't just about technology. It's about us. It's about how we've allowed the speed of connection to overshadow the depth of it. And the truth is, we've always been made for more than that. We began with eyes, with touch, with the shared gaze that said more than words ever could. Communication was intimacy, not efficiency. Every interaction was a moment, not a transaction. Then came the letter, the quill scratching on parchment, the slow journey of words through time and space. It was a revolution of thought, but still bound by time and distance. The telegraph and telephone broke that silence. Words could now travel faster than sound, but they still carried the weight of meaning, the responsibility of being heard. Then came the radio, the broadcast, the voice that could reach millions in an instant. It was the first time communication became a public act, no longer confined to the personal or the local. And finally, the screen, the digital canvas where we project our thoughts, our lives, our stories. It's fast, but sometimes it feels like we're speaking to an empty room. Imagine you're at the park, and someone walks up and talks to you. That's face-to-face. It's like real life, with smiles and eye contact. But now, you're on a screen, far away, and you just see a little square with someone's face. When you're face-to-face, you feel the world around you. You hear the wind, see the trees, and know where you are. But when you're on a screen, the world feels smaller. It's just you and the person on the other side. Talking face-to-face is like sharing a secret. You can see if someone is listening, if they're happy or sad. But on a screen, you can't always tell. You just see their face, and sometimes it's hard to know if they're really there. When you're face-to-face, you feel connected. You share the air, the light, the moment. But on a screen, you're in a box. It's like being in a dream where you can't touch the world around you. So face-to-face is like being in the real world. It's real, it's warm, it's full of life. But when you're on a screen, it's like being in a little box. And that's okay, but it's not the same. The first step begins with a quiet room, a screen, and a moment of intention. We sit alone, not just physically, but mentally, preparing to step into a world that's no longer bound by distance. There's a pause, not just between thoughts, but between the past and the present, between what was and what is now. We take a breath, and then we click, as if opening a door to a different kind of conversations. The screen flickers, not with light, but with possibility. It's not just pixels and code. It's a bridge, a mirror, a window. And through it, we begin to reach out, even if only in silence. In that moment, we are not just connecting with someone else. We're connecting with a version of ourselves, a version that's distant, yet familiar, waiting for the first word to be spoken. The setup is simple, yet it carries the weight of 1,000 conversations waiting to happen. We're not just getting ready to speak, we're getting ready to be seen, even if only in a pixelate world. When you tap the screen, the app receives your command, and it begins to process your request. It calculates what content to show you based on your past behavior, your location, and your mood. It's not just about what you've liked, it's about what you've never seen. Behind the scenes, algorithms are working like silent curators, selecting what to display. They decide which posts to elevate, which to bury, which to keep hidden from your view. It's a system designed to keep you engaged, not necessarily informed. This system operates in real time, adapting to your actions as you go. Every pause, every swipe, every tap sends feedback back to the algorithm, shaping what you see next. You are both the viewer and the data point. In this mechanism, there is no true randomness. Everything is calculated, everything is tailored, everything is designed to keep you hooked. It's a system that knows you better than you know yourself, and it shapes your reality in the process. The algorithm isn't just sorting content. It's curating your reality, feeding you what it thinks you want, not what you need. It's not about cloud connection anymore, it's about prediction. Every like, every share, every pause, it's data, and data is the new currency of attention. We don't just consume content, we become content. The algorithm shapes our thoughts, and our thoughts shape what we see, creating a feedback loop of confirmation and isolation. The twist isn't just in the technology, it's in the way we've let it redefine who we are, what we think, and how we see the world. We've traded the intimacy of face-to-face for the convenience of a scroll. But in doing so, we've lost something more valuable than we ever realized. There's a rhythm to this, a pulse beneath the surface of every click, every scroll, every swipe. It's not just what we do, but how we do it, how our brains are wired to seek connection, even in the most impersonal of spaces. Neuroscience tells us that our brains crave stimulation, but it's not just the content. It's the speed, the constant novelty, the dopamine hit that comes with every new notification. It's like a neural hunger, always seeking the next bite. We've adapted so well to this digital world that we've forgotten how to breathe without the screen. Our attention is no longer our own. It's borrowed, shared, and constantly under someone else's control. But beneath all the noise, there's a quiet truth. Our brains are still social. They were built for connection, for dialogue, for the give and take of real conversations. And sometimes we miss it, not in the noise, but in the silence. The science hums on, but so does our humanity. It's not about rejecting the screen, but about remembering why we reached for it in the first place. And maybe, just maybe, finding a way to return to the face, the voice, the presence. Imagine two people standing in a room, eyes locked, hearts beating in sync. Every word is a brick and a bridge built between them, slow, deliberate, and full of meaning. Now picture them standing in the same room, but now their eyes are glued to their phones, fingers dancing across screens, lost in a world that only they can see. The bridge they built together is now a shadow, replaced by a stream of fleeting images and words that never quite land. We've traded depth for speed, connection for convenience, and in doing so, we've created a world where the most important conversations are the ones we never finish. Maybe it's not the end of connection, but the beginning of a new kind of silence. One that we've chosen, not out of loneliness, but out of habit. Comment this emoji if you made it to the end. You open your phone, and suddenly the world is filtered through a lens you didn't choose. It's not just content. It's a curated version of reality, shaped by invisible hands. These algorithms don't just recommend videos. They mold our thoughts, our tastes, our understanding of the world. They whisper in the silence between clicks. We think we're choosing what to watch, but in reality, we're being chosen by what we see. The algorithm is watching, and it's learning. This isn't just about entertainment. It's about how we perceive ourselves, our world, and each other. The algorithm is curating our reality, and we're not even aware. The question isn't whether we're being influenced. It's whether we can still see the world as it is, or if we're already living inside a filter we can't undo. When we speak of algorithms, we're not just talking about lines of code. These are invisible forces shaping how we see the world, what we believe, and who we choose to trust. They don't just recommend videos or suggest music. They decide what information we're exposed to, often without us even realizing it. In their quiet, relentless work, algorithms create echo chambers, reinforcing our beliefs and filtering out the unfamiliar, the uncomfortable, and the inconvenient. They don't just shape content. They shape our understanding of reality, often without us knowing how much they've already decided for us. The algorithm is not a neutral observer. It is a curator, an architect of perception, and in many ways, it has become the gatekeeper of our minds. You think you're choosing what you watch, but the algorithm is shaping what you see. It doesn't just recommend content. It molds your understanding of the world. Every like, share, or click is a data point. And over time, these data points form a feedback loop that defines your reality, often without you realizing it. The algorithm doesn't just filter content. It filters perspectives. What you see is not a reflection of reality, but a curated version of it, shaped by the preferences of a few. This isn't just about entertainment. It's about how we form opinions, how we understand history, how we decide what's important. And it's happening without us even noticing. So, yes, it's a system designed for engagement. But engagement has a price, and it's one we're all paying, even if we don't realize it. The roots of algorithmic curation stretch back to the 1960s, when early computer systems began sorting information based on simple rules. These were the first steps toward a system that would one day shape how we see the world. In the 1990s, the web exploded, and with it came search engines that tried to make sense of the chaos. Google's PageRank algorithm, introduced in 1998, was a breakthrough. It promised to find the most relevant pages by counting links. The 2010s saw the rise of social media platforms, which transformed algorithms from tools for organizing information into gatekeepers of attention. They learned to prioritize engagement, often at the cost of truth and diversity. Today, the algorithm is everywhere, in our news feeds, search results, and even the products we buy. It doesn't just show us things, it shapes our understanding of reality, often without us realizing how deeply it has changed us. Imagine your phone knows what you like, even before you do. It picks out videos, songs, and news that feel just right for you, like a friend who knows your tastes better than you do. But what if that friend only shows you one side of the story? It's like having a filter that only lets in the colors it likes, and the rest gets left out. We think we're choosing what to watch, but really, the algorithm is making those choices for us. It knows what we want before we even know it. It's like having a personal guide that never gets tired, and it always knows what to show. It's not a friend. It's more like a silent shadow that follows us around, always one step ahead. The more we use it, the more it learns about us. It starts to shape our thoughts, our opinions, and our feelings, not through words, but through what we see and what we don't. It doesn't tell us what to think, but it tells us what to see. And the more we see, the less we think about what we're not seeing. That's how it works, not by force, but by habit. We think we're in control, but in reality, we're just part of a big, invisible system that's been built to keep us engaged, not to make us think. It's not about the truth. It's about the feeling of being understood. And that's how it starts to feel like the only way to see the world. The algorithm doesn't start with your preferences. It starts with your data. Every click, every scroll, every search is a piece of the puzzle that's been quietly assembled for years. This data is collected by invisible systems that track your behavior, your location, and even your emotional responses to content. It's not just what you watch, but how you react to it. Behind the scenes, this data is processed by powerful servers, often located in distant data centers, where it's transformed into a form of digital fingerprint, unique to each user. This fingerprint is the starting point for the algorithm's journey. It's a map of who you are, based on what you've done, before you even click on anything. The setup is silent, invisible, and yet it defines the world you will see. It's not just about content. It's about the lens through which you experience reality. The algorithm doesn't just collect data. It begins to understand us. Every click, every pause, every scroll tells it something about who we are, what we like, and what we might want next. It uses this data to build a profile of the user, not just of their preferences, but of their emotional state, their habits, and even their unspoken desires. This prediction is based on patterns it has learned over time, patterns that are often invisible but deeply influential in shaping our daily experiences. What starts as a simple recommendation becomes a loop of reinforcement, where the more we engage, the more the algorithm refines its understanding, and the more it shapes what we see. This is not just about content. It's about the architecture of attention, how the algorithm curates our reality by deciding what we see when we see it, and how we feel about it. The clever twist isn't just in the data it uses, but in how it learns from our choices, shaping what we see before we even realize it's been shaped. It doesn't just show us what we want. It shows us what we might want, by predicting what we haven't yet seen based on the patterns of what we have. It uses a kind of feedback loop. What we engage with is what it remembers, and what it remembers is what it shows us next, reinforcing the same patterns of thought and behavior. In this way, the algorithm doesn't just reflect our preferences. It subtly nudges them, guiding our attention in ways we may not fully understand. The clever twist is that it doesn't need us to be aware of it. It works in the background, shaping our reality through the very act of engagement. Behind every recommendation lies a complex web of probability and prediction, where data points are not just numbers, but fragments of human behavior, encoded into models that shape our choices. These models, trained on billions of interactions, don't just guess. They infer, adapting in real time to the patterns of what we click, scroll, and abandon. What we see isn't a reflection of reality, but a curated version, algorithmically sculpted to keep us engaged, often without us even realizing it. This science isn't just about optimization. It's about influence, shaping our attention and, in subtle ways, our thoughts and beliefs. The algorithm's hum is the heartbeat of our digital lives, a quiet, invisible force that guides us through a world of infinite choices, without us ever knowing it's there. Imagine a library that only allows you to borrow books based on the last one you read. No choice, no context, just the next one in line. That's how algorithms work in our lives. It's not that the books are bad. They're just not the ones you need. You're being fed what's convenient, not what's right. The algorithm doesn't care about you. It only cares about what keeps you clicking. It's a machine that doesn't understand human need, but it knows how to make you stay. And yet, it works. Not because it's smart, but because it's simple. And simplicity is what makes us comfortable, even when it's wrong. So, we must ask, are we the ones in control? Or are we just another page in the algorithm's story? Comment this emoji if you made it to the end. You know that feeling when you're with someone, and it's like the air between you just holds their breath? You don't need to say anything. The silence is full. That's what presence is. It's not the words, it's the space they make. Now imagine that silence being replaced with a notification. A chime, a glow, a vibration. It's not the same. You're still there. But the connection feels thinner, like a thread stretched across the void. It's not that technology is the enemy. It's that we've allowed it to reshape how we feel, how we reach, how we stay. We've built a world where being close is measured in pixels, not presence. This video is about that shift, the way we've moved from being with people to being with screens, and what we've lost in the process. We're talking about how love and friendship have changed, not because we've lost something, but because we've replaced it with something else. It's not that we're less connected, it's that we're connected in a different way, one that feels more distant than it does intimate. We used to touch, to look into each other's eyes, to feel the warmth of a shared moment. Now, we scroll, we message, we wait for the next notification. The presence of someone is replaced by the presence of their image, their words, their voice, but not their soul. It's not just about technology. It's about how we've allowed it to shape the way we experience connection. We've traded the depth of a moment for the breadth of a conversations, and in doing so, we've lost the ability to truly be with someone. We're not alone in this. We're all part of a world that's moved away from the physical, from the real, from the presence of others. But what we're left with is something fragile, something that feels more like a memory than a moment. And so we ask, what is intimacy when it's not face-to-face? What is presence when it's not physical? And what do we truly lose when we let the digital world take the place of the human one? You think you're just scrolling through a screen, but you're actually scrolling through a life. Every like, every message, every notification is a small stitch in the fabric of something bigger than you can see. We've built entire relationships out of fragments, texts, emojis, and silence. But in those fragments, we're missing something essential. The weight of a moment, the warmth of a touch, the depth of a gaze. We're so used to being connected that we forget what it means to be truly present. The silence between messages is louder than the messages themselves. And in that silence, we're alone. Maybe you don't feel it now, but there's a quiet ache in the way you've grown used to being alone with others. That ache is the cost of digital intimacy. It's a kind of loneliness that feels like connection. You should care because you're not just missing the conversations. You're missing a moment that could have been real. And that moment, once gone, is never the same. The first time we could talk without being in the same room, it felt like magic. A message that arrived in seconds, yet carried the weight of 1,000 words. We were connected, but not really there. Then came the call. Voice, sound, breath. A bridge built between the spaces we called home. We were together, even when we were apart. It felt like love, but it was something else entirely. And then the app. The algorithm, the match, the swipe. We found love in seconds, but it never felt like it was meant to last. It was convenient, but it missed the point of being present. Now, we are connected more than ever, yet we are more alone. We've built a world where presence is optional, and intimacy is measured in likes and replies. We've traded real touch for virtual gestures, and real connection for digital echoes. The question is no longer whether we can be together. It's whether we want to be. You know when you're with someone, and you don't need to say anything, but you still feel like you're talking? That's what real presence is. It's not words, it's the silence between them. Now imagine that silence is replaced by a screen. You can hear the heartbeat of the moment, just the buzz of notifications. It's like being with someone, but not really with them. Real presence is like a warm blanket. It wraps you up, makes you feel safe, and lets you breathe. Digital intimacy is like a screen, cold and distant, that only shows you what you want to see. We're not losing love. We're losing the way we feel it. Love is not just a feeling. It's a presence. And presence is not something you can send through a screen. The most important thing isn't what you say. It's what you feel when you're with someone. And sometimes that feeling is harder to find than you think. It starts with a simple click, a quiet decision to connect. We reach for our phones, not out of need, but out of habit. The screen lights up, and in that moment, we're already half a world away. The app opens. A familiar face appears. We don't see their expression, only their profile picture. The world outside fades, and the space between us becomes a place of silent expectation. There's a pause, a hesitation, a moment where we could choose to look up. Instead, we press send, and the conversation begins. Not with words, but with the silence between them. The setup is effortless, almost invisible. We've built a world where connection is just a few taps away, but the cost is a quiet erosion of presence, a loss of what it means to truly be with someone. We click, we connect, we scroll. It's not just a conversation. It's a choreography of attention, a dance of fleeting glances and delayed responses, all orchestrated by the invisible hand of the algorithm. Every message is a heartbeat. Every notification a pulse. We're not just sending words. We're sending signals, measuring intimacy through the frequency of replies and the speed of our silence. We're learning to love through the lens of a screen, to care through the filter of a message, to be close through the absence of touch. It's not that we're less human. We're just more fragmented, more dispersed, more caught between the real and the digital, more lost in the rhythm of a world that doesn't ask for presence, only participation. And yet, there's a strange kind of intimacy in this too. The kind of connection that transcends space, time, and even the body. It's intimacy through absence, through delay, through the quiet understanding that we're not always there, but we're always trying to be. You think you're connecting, but the app is already deciding what you should feel for whom. It's not you. It's the algorithm, whispering sweet lies in your ear. The more you scroll, the more you're not there. The more you're just a set of data points, and the more you forget how to be with someone in the real world. You're not just missing out on love. You're missing out on the act of loving. The slow, messy, sacred work of being with someone, not through a screen, but in the moment. The twist isn't that we're connected. It's that we're being manipulated into thinking we are. And in the end, the only thing we're really losing is our own presence. There's a quiet rhythm to how we connect now. Fingers tapping, screens glowing, voices layered in the air like ghosts. It's not just communication. It's a kind of presence, but one that feels always just out of reach. Neuroscience tells us that the brain craves touch, eye contact, the warmth of another body. But in the digital realm, we're left with pixels and echoes, trying to make meaning from the absence of the real. We've built an entire world of intimacy that's not physical. It's emotional, yes, but it lacks the fullness of being. It's like trying to hold a flame with your eyes closed. Bright, but not warm. The science of connection is clear. Our brains evolved for presence, for being together, for the shared experience of the moment. But now, we're choosing the quiet hum of a screen over the thunder of a heartbeat. And yet, there's beauty in this paradox. The digital has given us ways to stay close even when we're far. But I wonder, what do we lose when we trade the warmth of a touch for the cold light of a screen? Imagine a world where every conversation is a string of text, where emotions are typed instead of felt. We speak without voice, touch without hand, and see without eye. It's intimacy without presence, and it's how we've come to know each other. We have replaced the warmth of a hug with the click of a like, the comfort of a touch with the tap of a screen. We've built entire lives in the absence of true connection. It's not that technology is bad. It's that we've allowed it to shape our relationships without question. We've traded depth for speed and presence for performance. Maybe the solution isn't to reject technology, but to remember that connection is not a feature. It's a feeling, and that feeling can't be coded, only shared. Let's not forget that the heart still beats, the hand still touches, and the soul still needs to be seen, not through a screen, but in the presence of another. Comment this emoji if you made it to the end. We've built a world that connects us faster than ever, yet somehow we feel more alone. The silence between us has grown louder, and the noise of our lives has drowned out the voices we need to hear. We scroll through endless conversations, yet none of them feel real. We're surrounded by people, but somehow we're still missing something essential. Connection, presence, and understanding. Maybe the answer isn't in the technology, but in the spaces between it. Maybe it's in the silence, the pauses, the moments when we let go of the need to be heard and simply be present. This isn't just about fixing a problem. It's about reimagining what it means to be human in this world. It's about reclaiming the connection that's been lost and rediscovering the heart of what it means to be together. We're talking about the quiet erosion of touch, of eye contact, of the simple, sacred act of being present with another human being. It's not just about technology. It's about the way we've come to prioritize the virtual over the real, the seen over the felt. Reclaiming connection isn't just about turning off our devices. It's about relearning how to feel, how to listen, how to be fully here with someone. This isn't just a loss. It's a moment of potential, a chance to remember what it means to be truly connected. The future of human interaction isn't written in code. It's written in our willingness to choose presence over distraction. You think this is just about technology, but it's really about what makes us human. We're not just using tools. We're trying to remember how to be with each other. When we lose touch with the way we used to connect, through eye contact, shared silence, or even the awkward pause, it's like we're losing a part of ourselves. We're not just losing time, we're losing presence. The future isn't just about what we do with our devices. It's about what we do without them. It's about reclaiming the quiet spaces where we can truly be seen, heard, and understood. You might not realize it, but every time you put your phone down, You're choosing to be more present. Every time you look someone in the eye, you're choosing to be more human. That's why you should care. The future of connection isn't something we can just wait for. It's something we have to choose. Every day, in every moment. And that choice is worth everything. We began as a species bound by touch, by eye contact, by the shared breath of a moment. Our first connections were not mediated by screens, but by skin, by silence, by the weight of a gaze. Then came the written word, a fragile thread that stretched across time, carrying voices across distances we could not yet traverse. It was the first form of connection that did not require presence. The internet was our first global village, a place where we could speak to anyone, anywhere, but often forgot that words alone cannot replace the weight of a hug or the silence between two people. Now, we are at a crossroads. We have built a world of endless connection, yet we have lost the ability to connect. The future is not in the technology, but in the choice to reclaim what was lost. Imagine you're at the park, and instead of running to your friend, you stop and look around. You see the world, not just your phone. You feel like you're part of something bigger. It's not about doing more, but being more. It's about slowing down and really seeing the people around you, not just passing through them. Connection isn't just about talking. It's about being present, even when you're not saying anything at all. The future isn't about more screens or more noise. It's about more heart, more time, and more of us being here for each other. The first step is to create a space that feels like home, not a stage. A place where the walls don't judge and the silence doesn't feel empty. You need to sit down, not just to be present, but to be fully available. Your body, your mind, your heart must be in the same place. You set the tone with your posture and your presence. A slouched body, a closed-off face, or a distracted gaze sends the wrong message. A straight back, a soft smile, and open eyes invite the other person in. This is not about perfection. It's about showing up, even if you feel like you're not ready. Because the first step is simply to begin. Step 2 begins with the recognition that connection is not a given, but a choice. We must first acknowledge the silence that has grown between us. The spaces where our voices once echoed, now replaced by the hum of screens. This silence is not empty. It is filled with the weight of missed opportunities, of unspoken words, of moments lost to distraction. It is a mirror, reflecting the distance we have allowed ourselves to create. This step is not about forcing a return to the past, but about reimagining what connection could be. It is about learning to be present, not just for ourselves, but for those who have waited patiently to be heard. Reclaiming connection is not a single act, but a continuous practice. It is about choosing to look up from the screen, to meet eyes, to speak with intention, and to hold space for the humanity in others. This is the mechanism. A pause, a choice, a return to the human. It is the first step in a journey that begins with silence and ends with understanding. The clever twist isn't in the technology, but in the intention behind it. It's not about replacing human touch, but about rekindling the forgotten art of presence. This technology asks us to slow down, to be more deliberate in our connections. It's not about efficiency, but about meaning. It's about choosing to be fully here, with someone else. This is not a future of screens replacing people, but of screens reminding us how to be with people. It's about creating space for the sacred in the everyday, for the quiet moments that matter most. The clever twist is that it doesn't demand anything from us, except to remember who we are. To be human is to connect. To be human is to reach out, to listen, to be present. And that is the heart of it all. There is a quiet hum beneath our interactions, a pulse of biology and chemistry that binds us. We are not just talking, we are breathing together, syncing our rhythms in ways we rarely notice. Neuroscience shows that when we connect, our brain waves begin to align. It's not just communication, it's kind of resonance, a shared frequency that bridges the gap between minds. In moments of true connection, there is no need for words. The body speaks, the heart listens, and the mind is still. This is the science of being present, of feeling seen. The future of human interaction is not about technology replacing us, but about technology helping us return to what we've always been. Beings who are naturally connected, if only we remember how to listen. The science of connection is not just in the data, but in the feeling. It is in the warmth of a shared gaze, the weight of silence, and the quiet understanding that we are not alone. We are like a symphony, each note played on a different instrument, yet all required to find harmony in the same space. But sometimes the conductor forgets to listen, and the music becomes a cacophony of disconnected voices. The future of connection is not about perfect synchronization, but about learning to play with others, even when the rhythm is off. It's about finding beauty in the dissonance, and courage in the silence between notes. In this new era of human interaction, we are not meant to be perfect. We are meant to be present, to be listening, not just waiting for our turn to speak, to be part of something greater than ourselves, even when the music feels unfamiliar. So let's stop chasing the perfect melody. Let's embrace the messy, the unknown, the beautiful chaos of being human, because the future of connection isn't about being right. It's about being together. Comment this emoji if you made it to the end.